Stegura. We're here at Barfly in Safety Harbor, and I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about myself. I was born in Pompano Beach, Florida in 1976. I have two older brothers, two normal parents, grew up pretty normal. Started fishing pretty young. We used to fish drainage ditches in front of our house. We fished in the local parks, just a stick and a string and a worm or whatever. My dad used to take me fishing in the Everglades sometimes, and we did a lot of, we really just fished any way we could. My middle brother's a big skateboarder, so I used to follow him around everywhere and go skateboarding, and I was never that good at it. I never really gravitated. I didn't have the balance that it took, but I was in love with it. A little later, he taught me how to surf. We used to ride our bikes with our surfboards from Pompano Beach from Pompano to Pompano Beach. We used to cross the intercoastal on our boards, paddling, and stash our bikes and then go surf. Moved to Clearwater Largo when I was about 10 years old. My brother kept skating, I kept following him around. I started fishing a little more in high school, but nothing serious. It was pretty much just really loved to do it. I fell in love with the species here, the snook. We didn't really care about redfish then. Snook was a really big prize fish to catch, and just kind of grew up normal, fishing, kind of like everybody else that I knew. So I basically had about every job you could possibly have. One of my first jobs, though, was in a tourist t-shirt shop, and I remember working there, and I was always kind of into clothes and fashion and style and stuff like that, but I remember just thinking that there's not a cool Florida shirt, like, at all. Every shirt had, if it said Florida, it also had seashells and glitter paint and whatnot, and I remember being frustrated working there that there wasn't something cool with the state of Florida on it. As well, I remember growing up that everybody was a fan of a different sports team, everybody was from New York or from somewhere else and really proud of it, and nobody was really proud to be from Florida, and my friends and I all thought it was awesome here, and so I did that job, and then a million other jobs as a kid. I just did day-to-day, working for somebody else, not making enough money. Around 2003 or 2004, I got my most steady job, and that was working for a big shipping company, and it kind of felt good to have like steady pay, steady income. I'd gotten married, and I was able to do a lot there that involved fishing. I became part of some fishing forums, and it was basically like I was at work, but all I did was fishing stuff. I'm sure a lot of people could relate. And from there, it was around 2008, we bought a house that cost us too much. We couldn't really afford it, and I was working my butt off 60 hours a week, and I was also fishing about 60 hours a week too, or more. I fished every day, and I just remember feeling like totally helpless, and I was like, if I'm gonna work a job, I would love to do it for myself, doing something I love, and maybe make less money, because at that point the money didn't matter, so I fished 7 days a week when my wife was pregnant with my daughter. And then when we had my daughter, about 2 weeks later, I sold my boat. And I went about a month where I just didn't fish at all, and I was like, I'm going to take care of my daughter, I'm going to take care of my family. I know if I have a boat there, I'm just going to go out every day anyways and whatnot, and neglect my home life. And I didn't want to do that. But my wife kind of told me I was getting crazy and I need to do something with fishing. And I always kind of had the idea that I'd like to start my own clothing brand. And I just kind of said, you know what, I'm going to do it. And she actually went to a flea market and bought this bamboo shirt, and they had like performance qualities. And I was like, wow, we could wear this fishing and it would dry well and whatnot. but we ended up not actually doing that. But it was a big inspiration, her kind of like encouraging me and nudging me on, and go follow your dream. So it took us about 3 weeks to come up with the name, and then she registered us as a business. So it was like she kind of just did it, and it was no turning back from there. We kind of had some good ideas, and we were like, all right. So that was kind of the foundation of the company. That's how we started. I guess something that a lot of people don't know about my company is that I really started it and ran it from my current day job. So I had a BlackBerry at the time, or I think I got a BlackBerry just because it was like a way for me to, answer emails and communicate while I was kind of on the clock and, under the radar. And, but, from 2008 until last year, 2014, late 2014, this is a company that, I basically do everything with my wife, and we've had partners in the past that didn't really pan out, that were good friends, but, business is really hard. But I actually worked my full-time job for the first 7 years of this company, and, when you were getting an order, I was the one shipping it out, or I had partners help me with that sometimes and whatnot, but it really is a homegrown business. I mean, it's like we run the whole thing. Now we have a remote office, but we started out running it from our house, and just small offices here and there, and it's not like we're this big corporation and we have all the help in the world. We have kind of like, we have to come up with the ideas, we have to ship it, we have to create it, we have to figure out how to make clothes, all these factors come into play, as well as social media. So the social media part of it's huge, because when I was at my job, that's all I did was pound away at social media and say, hey, this is a way for us to get our brand out there. And I never wanted to be like, hey, check out our brand. I wanted to be more like, hey, let's get an image in there with our clothes and not even mention the clothes. Kind of have it to where it's a kind of like a background noise of the picture. Is like, wow, that's a really cool shirt. What is that? And we have this team that we call the SWC Collective, who we kind of started with that idea from the very beginning. Like, we're going to get people to help us, and in exchange, we're going to, kind of give them discounts on clothes, or give them clothes, or we didn't know what to do. And a unique way that we did that was we approached people that weren't guides, because one thing that was like blatantly apparent was like when somebody was sponsored around 2008, 2007, whatever, when we started, was like, that's all you heard about from them is like, oh, I'm using these hooks and whatever. And I always thought that was like fugazi, like fake, like, and I never wanted to have that feel about our brand, because nothing we do is fake. It's all, we have our own ideas. We entered this to inject our ideas onto the people, and if they liked it, great. If not, we were still going to do it, and it's kind of still how we do it. So, but yeah, so my kids come to the shop with me many times a week. They're part of it. They go and do shows with us. It's really just, where a lot of people hire people, marketing agencies or whatever. Like, we've done everything ourselves. My wife's kind of in the background, kind of lesser mentioned and whatnot, because I have this boisterous personality. But without her, I couldn't go a day without this business. And without my kids understanding that when I was working 60 hours a week at my day job, and then going to the shop and sometimes sleeping like 2-3 hours a night for like 4 years at a time, because I was printing shirts or whatever, folding shirts, or fulfilling orders, doing customer service, all that stuff. It's just a part of us I'm sure nobody really knows about, that there's definitely something to it. I feel like it kind of gave the brand a soul. I feel like we've just scratched the surface basically with what we want to do as a company. Of course, we want to make clothes, we want to make better clothes, but we want to have a larger scale impact. I mean, you still have people that I see daily talking about catching their limit. Like, I think that's the dumbest phrase ever. Like, I think we need to evolve as fishermen and not worry about catching your limit. Like, that's the dumbest. Like, who are you doing that for? Like, to tell your friends you caught the limit? Or are you fishing because it's like something that brings you closer to nature and whatnot? So just basically all I want, the point I want to get across is we've only scratched the surface. There's so much more to do, and I'm really looking forward to doing it, you know, with my friends and my family, with Chase Hancock and my wife Jen. So anyways, that's it. I really appreciate the time you guys took to interview me. We've never been interviewed before, so I don't know why. I guess we're not that interesting, but maybe we don't pay for it. I don't know. But anyways, thank you so much for the time, taking the time to interview me, and, you know, helping us tell our story. Thank you. I wish I would have said more about Chase, you know, but he's not here, so I should probably fucking say something about him. You want to squeeze that in there? He don't care.